Hi, and welcome to the Power of Intergenerational Connections, Even Now. We, a group of intergenerational professionals, are thrilled to be here today and feature programs in Baltimore, Fairfax County, and Montgomery County. We will share information about intergenerational programs occurring right now during the pandemic and how you can get involved. First, I am going to introduce Austin Heyman, who is a founder of an intergenerational program in Montgomery County from over 30 years ago. Austin, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Good morning. Welcome to our showcase of opportunities to volunteer through intergenerational programs in your community. I'm excited to be here as I did start one of the first programs in Maryland in 1986. This was at the very beginning of the intergenerational movement in the United States. Actually, InterAges is the longest running local program in the country. Now there are many opportunities to become involved in your community. After I retired, I volunteered for many years in an InterAges program called Dialogues Across the Ages. It was a great opportunity to talk with 16-year-olds, most of whom came with their family from other lands. I learned a lot about their lives and was able to share some of my own experiences. One memorable moment came with one of the students from Nicaragua who told us at a luncheon for volunteers in response to a question as, "What were you going to do after you graduate?" "I want to be a policeman and give back to the community," he said. There are now lots of opportunities in your own community with children and youth. I want to introduce Leah Bradley, the former director of InterAges programs and now founder of ETA, Empowering the Ages.
Thank you, Austin. Today's agenda, as is up on your screen, was this wonderful introduction by Austin. And then I, Leah Bradley, is going to discuss the importance of intergenerational programming. From there, we're going to learn about volunteer and engagement opportunities for those 50 plus throughout Maryland, Fairfax County, Virginia, as well as Baltimore. The names and the email addresses of all of our speakers are up on your screen for you to refer back to at a later point should you decide you want to join some of our programming. Next slide, please. Whether we're a preschooler or a young teen, a graduating college senior, or a retired person, we human beings all want to know that we're acceptable and that our being alive somehow makes a difference in the lives of others. This is a quote by Mr. Rogers, and one that clearly defines why all of us here today have the opportunities that we do to bring to you so that we can all make a difference in each other's lives. Next slide, please. What is an intergenerational program? According to the National Council on Aging, intergenerational programs are planned and ongoing activities that purposely bring together different generations to share experiences that are mutually beneficial. So if you look at those highlighted words, all the opportunities that we are going to bring you today are planned, ongoing, purposeful, and mutually beneficial for you, for the youth you're working with, and for the larger community. Next slide, please. Why intergenerational? Well, those of us here today understand that the perspectives and the stories of different generations help you understand the society in which you live and all those diverse cultures around you. Intergenerational programs mirror what's happening in your communities, in your families, as well as around the world. Intergenerational programs teach people how to think about the world in a very broad sense and help the community deeply connect with the perspective of different generations. Next slide, please. As you will hear, as you learn about the upcoming opportunities, we are all focused on strengths. We believe that all the opportunities to bring generations together are based on strengths and assets that everyone brings to the table. Adults and elders bring experience, wisdom, time, nurturance, and acceptance, as well as much more. And youth bring enthusiasm, energy, optimism, idealism, hope, innocence, as well as much more. Through bonding the generations, we are creating a stronger and more caring, supportive society. And we need that now more than ever. Next slide, please. We are connecting individuals so that their lives can be improved, as well as we see improvement in the larger community. While traditionally intergenerational programs were all in person, we have decided that through this pandemic, we can figure out in a creative, innovative way how to run intergenerational programs virtually. The numbers of older and younger people suffering from increased isolation and loneliness is going up on a daily basis. So we'd like to see ways that the generations can engage with one another and reduce those numbers of isolation and lonely individuals. Next slide, please. I am, as I said, Leah Bradley from Empowering the Ages. I'm going to tell you a little bit about some programs that we are currently running during the pandemic, and we hope that you choose to participate. Next slide, please. One of our programs is called Crossing Paths, and this is a program that takes place in many settings, but provide opportunities for older and younger individuals to have meaningful conversations, learn about each other's experiences, and gain perspective on the history of one another as well as the world, and hope together for the future through their conversations. We would encourage you to go onto our website and sign up if this is something of interest. Next slide, please. Our Sharing Smiles program connects older and younger generations safely by email and mail. We have sent over 1,500 notes since March through 450 pairs. Those are ongoing connections that are safe, private, and screened by our staff. This is one of the many initiatives that we have started to reduce loneliness among older adults as well as teens. Next slide, please. Just recently, we received this quote from a youth who has been writing a note to an active older adult. This teen expressed herself by saying, "Sometimes I feel like teenagers aren't really heard. During this pandemic, I have felt more empathy from older generations, but there's still a ways to go. Letters from you are breaths of fresh air and are very assuring." It's beautiful that a teen has felt such connection to an older adult. Next slide, please. Next, you're going to see a very short video that gives you a sense of this intergenerational program, Sharing Smiles. Thank you. And while the music was very quiet, you did get to see the words in that video. We also, besides programming, have some resources that we welcome all of you to participate with. We have virtual concerts that we're playing on a monthly or twice a month basis with youth sharing their talents through Zoom. We encourage older adults living in their homes or in older adult living communities to sign up for our concert. Next slide, please. Here's a video of one of our youth who has participated in many of our concerts. You can see how much this experience has meant to him.
Hello, I'm Sean Wong. I'm grateful for the chance to bring smiles to our community, especially the seniors. Thank you.
Next slide, please. Another resource we have is called Quick Quotes. This was started by 2 high school students that came to us at Empowering the Ages asking if they could send joy. They wanted to make sure that teens and older adults felt like they were a part of something and hopefully add a little light and smile to their days. So they send out a motivational quote each week by email. And if you're interested in receiving, we encourage you to go on our website and sign up. Next slide, please. Another resource we have is called Where's My Bench? This is a resource which is a map that's on our website. You can sign up to receive the link to the map if you live in Montgomery County. And this provides spots of benches throughout the county where older adults and anyone really can sit and take a break while walking. We had over 70 teens walk their communities this summer to plot those benches, and it's a great resource for anyone living in Montgomery County. Next slide, please. This is some information about Empowering the Ages. We encourage you to go to the website to learn more, to sign up for our e-newsletter, follow us on social media. Thank you. And next, I'd like to introduce Dorothy Keenan from Grand Involve in Virginia, who's going to share about her programming.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dorothy Keenan, and I am the founder and executive director of Grand Involve. We are a program that's making a difference in the life of a child. Next screen, please. Grand Involve is an intergenerational educational volunteering program. We use older adults in the classrooms of Title I schools. Are you wondering what the Title I school is? In Fairfax County, 55% or more children, it's a school where 55% or more children are eligible for free or reduced price lunch. We currently have 42 Title I schools in Fairfax County, and Grand Involve's goal is to be in all Title I schools by the end of 2024. Our goals are to improve the quality of life for older adult volunteers and for children attending Title I schools by providing intergenerational educational activities, and also to increase the number of older adults who volunteer to help improve the educational outcomes of vulnerable students in Fairfax County. Next screen, please. Here's some information about Grand Involve. Grand Involve began in Crestwood Elementary School in 2014 with a pilot program, and we now partner with 25 schools. Last year, we had 186 classroom volunteers, and we had 40 people in leadership. There are Grand Involve programs in all Title I schools in the South County, and we're moving around the county up to the east and then up to North County, so that we'll be in all the Title I schools within a few years. And recently, we have pivoted, and we're going to be offering help to students outside of Fairfax County Public Schools this year through partnerships that we've developed with community-based organizations. I'd like to tell you that everyone in Grand Involve is a volunteer, including me. We have no paid staff. And in mid-March, when the schools closed their doors, we were left with trying to figure out what to do with our willing volunteers who are missing their time with the children. Next slide, please. As the spring progressed, we realized that many children were not able to participate in distance learning. The schools realized this too, and they started actively working to remedy the situation. They supplied Chromebooks, laptops, and Wi-Fi to all the students in our county. Grand Involve, in turn, made the decision to pivot to virtual volunteering. We purchased a volunteer database system to keep track of our volunteers. We pulled together 5 teams, and now we have 9 teams, which meet weekly and on a regular basis, and we are planning this pivot. We are in the process of developing new policies and procedures and the guidelines for online safety and security. We are also researching which platform we're going to use. Will it be Zoom or another? We need to purchase additional insurance. We're training our volunteers, and we're providing educational resources that our volunteers will need for virtual volunteering. We're deciding we're trying to figure out how we're going to retain our volunteers, and we're having plenty of technical issues. So here's a picture of a volunteer session in process using the Blackboard platform that our schools use. And you can see our tutor and our student over on the right with a lesson that they're working on. So these are the virtual volunteer guidelines that have been set forth by Fairfax County Public Schools. We must use an FCPS sponsored platform that's approved for online learning, such as this one, the Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. The teacher sets up the meeting space and sends the link to the volunteer, and then the teacher provides supervision by popping in and out of that virtual meeting space. There are going to be several students in the breakout room with the volunteer, and the students who receive help from a Grand Involve volunteer must have a letter of approval from a parent. Here are some of the guidelines that we're using for safety. All of our volunteers are fingerprinted and background checked, and they must go through a new orientation training that's specific to online tutoring. We will always have more than one adult in any tutoring session, and we must have the parent's approval and the signature. Next slide, please. Over the summer, we partnered with a local community-based nonprofit called Cornerstones, and we supplied online help for their summer school program. We learned a lot about this, about partnering with another organization, and we're thankful for their experience and their relationships that they had with the family, which was important. Now this fall, we're back in our schools. We are partnering with our schools. We have about half of the schools ready to partner with us. The rest are coming on slowly. Some schools have decided not to use volunteers this year. Meanwhile, we're in the process of building additional partnerships like we are with Cornerstones. So Grand Involve volunteers work with Cornerstones, a local community-based nonprofit, to offer help with a summer school curriculum. And this partnership is continuing now that it's the fall. There will be additional partnerships this school year. And we will be using more community-based nonprofits. This enables us to reach more students who are educationally vulnerable, but maybe don't live in the geographical boundaries of a Title I school. The next slide, please. We ask you to remember that African proverb that it takes a village to raise a child. Here is a picture of one of our adult volunteers working with an individual child in the classroom. Next slide, please. And this is for more information on how to contact us, okay? We do need classroom volunteers, and we do need session moderators. We have several leadership positions available. And I want to thank you for your time, and I ask that you please join our village today. We can make a difference in the life of a child. Thank you. And this is our contact information right here.
Thank you so much, Dorothy, for sharing about this amazing program. It's incredibly impressive how you've been able to transfer it to an online platform. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Next, we have Lori Marks, who is going to share about all the programs that she is doing throughout Montgomery County. Welcome, Lori.
Hi, thank you, Leah, and thank you for having us share this wonderful Expo session today with all of these exciting programs to bring the generations together. So I'm Lori Marks, and I'm the Executive Director and founder of Link Generations. So next slide, please. The mission of Link Generations is to educate middle and high school students about aging and connect them with older adults in interactive activities that benefit both populations. Our mission is also to combat ageism and social isolation by bringing the different age groups together. One of the things that we do is, and this is based on my background as a gerontologist, is train students about aging and about effectively communicating with older adults. And our adult participants who participate in our interactive programs feel a sense of purpose and a connection to others. And they also report having an increased understanding of today's teens, because we know that there are stereotypes about aging of people of all ages, young and old. So we're trying to address ageism across the generations. Next slide, please. Link Generations storytelling series are interactive discussions that focus on learning from people of diverse ages, cultures, and backgrounds. This picture is a picture of our programs that we were doing pre-COVID, when we were all able to get together physically. And of course now we can't do that, so we have figured out how to translate these wonderful interactive discussions into virtual platforms, which I will tell you about. Some of the sample program themes that we focus on are getting to know you, music through the ages, resilience, gratitude, and traveling through time. These programs have been a lot of fun and a chance for people to learn about different backgrounds and also different age times. Next slide, please. Another kind of program that Link Generations has done is share information about technology. And this again is a picture of one of our programs before, when we could physically help each other with technology. We call this Teens Teach Technology. And this is an opportunity for older adults who haven't grown up with technology in the same way that our teens have, to learn about smartphones, apps, tablets, and computers from today's experts, who are the young people, the teens. Link Generations trains teens to listen patiently and speak slowly so they can answer your technology questions effectively. Next slide, please. So as we've all been talking about today, connecting in 2020 looks very different than those pictures I just showed you. So here's a picture of one of our middle school volunteers on the left who's writing a letter. We do have a letter writing program where we have middle school and high school students writing letters and creating art to send to older adults who have been isolated during the pandemic. And then on the right, we have a picture of our Zoom program, where we've taken our storytelling series and our technology training sessions and put them on Zoom. And we've found that we can make those connections work. We've worked all summer to pilot these programs, and we've gotten a lot of great results to show that we are getting those rich interactive connections that we saw in person. So we're very encouraged by that. So next slide, please. So here are some testimonials from some of the seniors who have participated in our new virtual programs, the Link Generations programs through Zoom. They say this program was great. They say they loved meeting such bright students who are so willing to talk to them. Something gained from this program, a couple of our seniors said that there was a reaffirmation that kids are great. And a lot of them said that they learned about things that they have in common, even when there's a vast age difference. We heard that from the young people who participated as well. They went into the program thinking, what do I have in common with somebody who grew up in such a different time as I did? And then they find out, oh, I do have a lot to talk about and a lot in common. And another thing that we hear is that it was good to hear the positivity of the younger generation. We hear how people are looking towards the future and feeling like there is a future with this younger generation, which is some kind of optimism right now that I think we all can use. And I'm feeling comforted and inspired by that. And I hope that you are too. Next slide, please. So this one is my take on an old PBS show that I watched as a child growing up. I used to watch this show called Zoom with my grandparents. It was an educational show, and the theme song was, and I'm not going to sing it for you because you won't recognize the tune for my off-key singing, but it would go, come on and zoom, zoom, zoom. I don't know if anybody remembers that from way back when, but I can't help thinking about that song during this pandemic when we're all on Zoom together. So I put it here to tell you about a couple of opportunities that Link Generations has, and we would love to have you join us in our storytelling series, which are Link Generations conversations with high school and college students that we are doing through Zoom. And we're also running weekly Zoom technology sessions or office hours where you can ask a teen questions about technology through Zoom. Some popular questions that adults have asked young people: how do I text with my son or daughter? How can I FaceTime with my grandchildren? How do I use the chat feature in Zoom? So those are all things that we hope you'll join us and that you'll come and Zoom with us at Link Generations. And you can reach me at lori@linkgenerations.org for details and how to register. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Lori, so much for joining us today and for sharing these incredible programs. We are so grateful that we have all these programs in the area for older adults and youth to connect. Next, I'd like to welcome Misuko Herrera from the county of Montgomery County, who's going to share about one of the programs that she is involved with. So welcome, and we are so glad you're here today to talk about Montgomery Connects.
So much for inviting us to be a part of this great program. It's always great to hear about such awesome things that are happening. My name is Mitsuko Herrera. I'm with Montgomery County, Maryland. I'm part of the Department of Technology Services and the Office of Broadband Programs. If you could advance to the next slide. We have for many years offered a program, I'm not sure if we have it in the slide deck, with Senior Planet Montgomery, which you can find on the web by looking at seniorplanet.org/Montgomery. And for that program, we've offered for many years technology training to assist older adults in learning how to use technology for daily living and to participate in the digital economy. When we had the pandemic hit, we switched all of that training, and it is now available online through Zoom. And we have many different courses that we offer in English and in Spanish. And in addition, we are beginning to launch a program with the Chinese Cultural and Community Center, CCACC, in which we are also offering those courses in Mandarin. But what we also found during the pandemic is that we had many older adults who just had questions. You know, it was sort of like, I used my phone before, but now I really need to use it all the time. And so what we started, and you can see here on the screen, is the Montgomery Connects program. So what it is it's an intergenerational program in which we've trained workers 16 to 23 of both how to do technology troubleshooting and how to work with older adults. And they provide technology support appointments. You can see here that you can go to the county's website, montgomerycountymd.gov/OBP. And there you'll see right there on the front page, you'll see that there is an option to sign up at the bottom there, either for a tech support appointment or an internet sign up. So for the tech support appointments, next slide. Oh, there's a Senior Planet slide. Okay, so the next slide. There you'll see that there are the different types of programs and support that we offer. Different types of appointments, how to access your email, documents, printer problems in particular. And what we found in the program, and you can, I think, go to the next slide. At the bottom, you'll see how to sign up for a tech appointment. You can also call 311. What we found in the program is that it's really been beneficial on both sides. For the older adults, they found that they have somebody who answers their question. Several people said, you know, it was great because I feel like, you know, people in my family, they're very busy, and there was someone who was patient and who could help me. But what we also found was for our tech workers is that they said, you know, there's really some really interesting people that live in Montgomery County. And it gave them an opportunity to have insight into other people's lives and to understand that, you know, I might have more skills about an iPhone, but wow, there's a lot of knowledge that people have. And so that's been a really great interaction for us. If you could go back 2 slides to the Senior Planet. There we go. So what we've also done is, and what we're looking to do now is, because we switched these classes to offering them online, it's a little bit of a challenge because now you have to be online in order to learn how to be online more effectively. So what we're starting to do are to create volunteer opportunities for people to be the equivalent of a classroom aide. So what you might do is participate and go to the lecture, and then afterwards, sometime during the week before the next week lecture, is schedule some time one-on-one with somebody who was in the classroom to just do practice with them. So it could be whatever that week's lesson would be. The idea is that, oh, I know what the lesson is, and I just get a little bit of extra time in there to help practice. And so what we're going to leverage is the county's volunteer works, but you can go to our website, you can contact us, you can sign up for the newsletter. The other thing that we're looking to do is that we notice with some people is that for the tech support program is we're looking to offer the tech support program in groups so that it'll be kind of an open format and somebody can say, well, I have a question about this. But instead of just providing the advice one-on-one, other people can listen in because they might have the same question, but they're a little bit shy about signing up. So we're sort of trying to merge sort of our existing programs and new programs and come up with new ways so that we can all stay connected, and that people, when you've got questions about technology, you can get those answered. And as we like to say, everybody can learn. And I'd like to just thank Senior Beacon and thank Leah at Empowering the Ages for inviting us to participate in the program.
Thank you so much, Masuko, for joining us today. We are glad that there are so many opportunities for adults to learn technology, especially from youth. So next, we are going to welcome Tiffany Sanford, who represents the ARP Foundation's Experience Corps, and Tiffany is going to share with us about this program. So welcome, Tiffany, and we are thrilled that you are here today to tell us about Experience Corps.
Thank you so much, Leah, for welcoming me, and I appreciate you and Senior Beacon for having me here today. I would like to tell you about ARP Experience Corps. Experience Corps is a proven program made up of volunteers who are dedicated to help children become great readers before completing third grade. Working collaboratively with teachers and other volunteers, volunteers change the course of a child's life by sharing wisdom and experience. Our goal is to improve children's literacy, strengthen our communities, and help develop cultures of inspiration in our schools and support our hardworking teachers. That's very important. Our volunteers have already changed the lives of thousands of children in schools across America. And with your help, we can do even more. We can measure the grade and look at the improvement on a report card. But the lessons you share go beyond the classroom in unmeasurable ways. As a tutor, you're also a mentor. You participate with the student, you help them improve their lives while improving your own life. That's the Experience Core difference. We are an intergenerational program built on making relationships that work for youngest people in grades pre-K through third grade and people over the age of 50. Experience Core is a national program, but there are four branches. Baltimore is one of the branches. Then we have Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., and Chicago. Although there are four branches, we have many affiliates across the United States, across America. We have 22 markets that we are part of, from California to Texas to Boston and all in between. We have 320 service sites, 2,000 plus volunteers, and we serve over 24,000 students yearly. Our volunteers in Baltimore, we have been a part of 25 schools up to 30 schools historically. This year, due to the pandemic, we have shortened the amount of schools that we're working with. So we're working with 9 schools this year, and the pivot, we're doing virtual tutoring. So I can get into more about that. Historically, we've had about 280 volunteers participating with our branch and 25 service sites, as I said. We have 3 volunteer specialists, each who have a group of schools that they service themselves, helping to monitor the school, communicate with the school staff, teachers, and learning reading staff there at the schools as well. We also have literacy coaches to help with our volunteers to help them understand the work and how to deliver the service that we're asking them to deliver. One second. And then our volunteers do small group tutoring. So it's small group of 2 to 4 students or 1-to-1 that our volunteers tutor the students. They use RAS materials, which is reading A to Z. That's the curriculum that we use to help the students learn and move forward with their reading. Students who are 6 months to 1.5 years behind are the students that we work with, try to bring them up so that they can be on target with the rest of their class. Because as we know, from pre-K through third, you learn to read. 4th grade and beyond, you read to learn. So if you haven't yet learned the first, it's almost impossible that you'll be successful with the second part. So that's the point and the intention of our program in the community and helping young students. Not only do we help students, not only are you going to help students, being a part of Experience Core, you're helping yourself. Being a part of Experience Core, we have studies with Johns Hopkins University and with Washington State University that shows that participating with Experience Core changed the health of the older volunteer. The neurons in the brain, how you volunteer, offset dementia and Alzheimer's. That's the study with Johns Hopkins, and please feel free to look this up. It's on every Google search you can find. And then the study with Washington State show how physically your body is changing because you're moving more and you're being more active with the students. This year with the pivot that we're doing, your service means that you would be online. You're learning new things. Again, I haven't been in third grade in a while, and I'm sure you haven't been in third grade classroom yourself in a long time either. So what the students are learning, you're learning along with them, as well as the training that we do provide for our volunteers, that 25 hours of pre-service training. I want to say pre-service training. Then as you go on month to month, we do have more training for you, and quarterly. All of them are not as intense as the pre-service training, but you will be getting some small nuggets along the way to say this is how we can enhance, this is how the program is changing to address the needs of the students, and of course you yourself, the volunteers. So our literacy support that we do give to our volunteers is on-site team leaders. So because we're doing the online, you will have a team leader online. Everything you're going to do is going to be online. You will have technology support. We know that new technology and how it changed, it can be a struggle. We have internet cafes, literacy cafes, and technology cafes set up for you to attend to help learn these nuances. So we're going to bring you along the way with us. We're going to make sure you have everything you need to be successful to help these young students. And then we also have social events that we've done in the past, so we're going to continue to do those things, such as having Spanish classes for our volunteers, French classes, book clubs, different social engagements to help you. As long as also, also Zoom parties. We'll have Zoom parties this year. We normally do some things in person, such as cookouts and karaoke. So this year is going to be no different. You'll be using your internet just like you're doing right now to watch me now talk to you. To participate with our volunteer, you must with our program, you must be at least 50 years of age or older. You must have earned a high school diploma or GED, so the equivalent. You must pass state and federal background checks. We have our volunteers do the checks through Baltimore City School headquarters. We do pay for that for all of our volunteers, so it's not at a cost to you. You must attend the training. Like I said, this year it's going to be a little different. The training, you will have that intense pre-service training that all of our volunteers hate leaving training because they have so much fun during that time. But because we normally do it 25 hours, which is 3 days broken up, that's in person. Because we're going to do it online this year, it's going to look a little different, so you won't have to sit down for the full 6 hours of training each day. So we'll talk to you about training, make sure you get everything that you need, help you with your tech, get you paired up with your teacher, your students, your monitor who's going to be in your room, and your team leader. You have a full circle of support to help you be successful while you help young students. Again, you may work with one student at a time. You may work with small groups of students. There's literacy games that we play throughout the time that you're with the students, half hour to 45 minutes per session. That way you can have a break in between and get back to the tutoring with the next set of students. Also, please think about whether you want to volunteer 5 to 10 hours per week. We have an unlimited number of volunteer hours. Some of our volunteers who say they're going to do 5, 10 hours really end up doing 20 hours just because that's how they want to give. They found that they have more time and they enjoy it so much, the time that they spend with students, not just tutoring, but again, going back to building those relationships. So to contact us at AARP Experience Corps Baltimore, you can reach us at joinecbaltimore@aarp.org. You can give us a call at 443-278-4900, or you can call me, 443-756-8919. I am the recruiter for Baltimore City Experience Corps, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. Thank you so much. Thank you, Leah.
Thank you so much, Tiffany.
Thank you, Leah.
And next we have Kathy Dennis, who is here to share about the Jewish Council for the Aging Heyman Interages Center programs. Welcome, Kathy.
Hello, my name is Kathy Dennis, and I am the Senior Director for the JCA Heyman Interages Center. I'd like to share some information about our program so that you know what kind of volunteer opportunities there might be for you. InterAges has been an institution in Montgomery County and throughout the DC area for more than 30 years. We've been providing face-to-face tutoring and mentoring in schools, as well as having children volunteer with seniors at a number of senior facilities throughout the county. Connections between generations are essential for the mental health and stability of a nation, by Margaret Mead. Never has this been more important than over the last 7 months when we've been dealing with this pandemic. Prior to the pandemic, we had a number of face-to-face volunteer programs. We had over 260 volunteers. We had over 300 youth volunteers, both providing a total number of service hours of more than 9,400 volunteers. That was between June until the beginning of the pandemic. The challenge is, what could we do in quarantine? How could we stay connected to seniors as well as staying connected to youth and families and our youth volunteers? So one of the things we did was we started our InterAges Connector, which was at first a weekly newsletter for our senior volunteers. We've been doing Zoom training for all of our seniors, some updating and tutor training. They've been doing some one-on-one math tutoring. We did some virtual career fairs. We've connected with a number of community partners, and we've also been partnering with MCPS on new virtual class programs. In staying connected to youth families and youth volunteers, our SHARE program became Share from a Distance. This was an opportunity for students and seniors to communicate with each other by email or by actual letters. We expanded the MCPS Service Learning Hour programs and to include virtual programs. Again, we have new community partners, and for a number of our students, they had to do projects in order to demonstrate what they learned from the virtual programs. So some of our new community partners were with Identity, a program in northern Montgomery County, Thriving Germantown, again in the Germantown area, and our own Kensington Club, which is a program for seniors with early signs of memory loss. As I mentioned, we've done Zoom training and tutoring training, and we've expanded our service learning programs to Share from a Distance. We've created an interview team. We have a Spanish club with seniors and youth, and we have a book club in partnership with our local libraries. This is a sample of the InterAges Connector. This newsletter now goes out monthly and informs our seniors and others about what we're doing. Our Share from a Distance program, as I mentioned, is a program where youth and seniors can share art, music, and other things through the internet. Some of our children had to do programs or projects in order to demonstrate their learning. So this was our arts and education program in partnership with Kensington Club. This is another sample of that. One of the things we're really looking for is ways to recruit more seniors and seniors with Spanish skills. We are also always looking for youth interested in more service learning hours for virtual activities. To find out more information, please look at our website, www.accessjca.org. You can contact me, Kathy Dennis, or you can contact our volunteer manager, Indira Dingledine. Thank you very much. We look forward to hearing from you.
To everyone, we've come a long ways. I hope you've seen the joy and the satisfaction that can come from intergenerational programs, and that you'll find an opportunity in your community to positively make a difference in the life of a child. And thanks to the Beacon for providing this opportunity and all of the information they do over the years. And thank you for watching.